One. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
The guys ready to do some hot
Happy
takes? Happy
Happy
Halloween,
Halloween,
everyone.
by the way. This is going up on
Pass.
Halloween. Pass.
Pass. Pass Halloween or pass hot takes?
Yes.
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 All
Well,
right. So we're doing this live on the 21st, but yes, this is going to be going up on other platforms on the 31st, aka Halloween. And tonight we are going to talk about some of our gaming hot takes. And hot takes, I mean, it's a pretty popular thing. Everybody likes to have that like unpopular opinion, or at least an opinion that like is not really shared amongst like a lot of people enough that like when you say it, like it's it's got that spice to it. Like you just kind of feel it.
we could fill this entire podcast with just Landon's opinions.
I think
What?
so, honestly. I mean,
No.
we'd have to start getting a little specific about like specific games and like stuff like that, but I definitely think it would be possible, yeah.
I think
Is that
everyone else on the internet agrees with me, and you guys are wrong.
Uh-huh.
That's my hot take.
You are
all right.
nitpicking and
And
biased.
biased.
I
Bias.
win.
I
I
win.
win.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, I have one that I would like to start us off with because it is I brought a few that are like more general. I didn't ask for like any stipulations as far as like what kind of hot takes. So like if people wanted to do specific stuff for like specific games or series, they could if they wanted to do specific genres. But I went kind of general with mine. And I think that considering how the internet functions, my what I wanted to open with was the the di- the duality of the quality of games versus how much someone says they are like they like or do not like them. And I feel like a lot of the time on the internet these things do not have to be the same. These can be two different things. But on the internet, every game is good that you like and every game is bad that you don't like. And that is it somehow. But
Okay.
Yeah.
but I feel like you can have a bad game that is like there's like a few redeeming qualities obviously, but like is largely like a lot of stuff you could say okay, this is wrong with it, this is not good, this is not good, and still like be like I like this game a lot though. There's like a lot of things about it that like maybe just like for example, for me my biggest one is like Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories or Digimon World 3, like these games from my childhood that like I would never tell you this is a good game. I would say they're okay, but like a lot of the time, I think most people would probably agree that they're not great, and yet like I still like them. Like I mean, I would say that Digimon World 3 has a lot of problems. It's grindy. There's a lot of backtracking. It's really annoying with the random encounters because of the frequency, like up and down. We did a let's play, and I think these guys remember the fun time I had doing some of the parts of that, especially the
That
like.
LP lasted forever.
Oh yeah, because I had to spend a lot of time grinding and backtracking. But I still enjoy that game because like it's fun uh to just like go around and like be in the digital world in this online game and like being able to like raise the Digimon the way that you can and like the different branching evolutions and stuff. The combat's not even that good because like every animation is basically the same and it's like really shallow, but like I don't know, I have fun with it. And then as far as like Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, just to like give examples of what I'm talking about, like that game, the graphics are like really like just monotonous because everything takes place on this like, and I did a let's play for this too, on this same like board when you're in the duels. And even then, like it's a 2003 game, and if you like go into like the actual like 3D battles, like they're nothing special, and it's a short game and it's really RNG heavy, and yet I don't know, there's just something, even though it's like a super like basic game mechanically because it's literally just war with monsters attached to them with points. Like there's just something fun about like fusing stuff together and then like drawing to your hand size and then like just crushing your opponents with really cool music playing. Like I don't know. These are not great games, and I could go on, but the point is like you can love a game, and it doesn't have to be a good game, and you can also not like a game, even though it is considered a very good game. And for me, that would probably be like the Grand Theft Auto games for the most part. Like I have tried so many times to play those games, and I agree with a lot of people that they're objectively really good games, but you will just never see me play them very often because like I don't know, I can never get into them. Like I've played them here and there. I played a little bit of Grand Theft Auto 3, that was my gateway. Played a little bit of Grand Theft Auto 4, quite a bit more 4 actually. And like I'll have fun with it, but like I just can't get into it enough to actually like play it seriously. But like I know they're good games, and I'm not going to say that they're bad games just cuz I don't like them. But that's the thing is like I think on the internet it's really hard to find someone who's willing to say that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's really hard to find someone that's like, "Oh, I don't like this game, but it's pretty good," or "I like this game, but it's pretty bad." Like I don't see that often, even though it's very possible.
All right, hot take. Grand Theft Auto sucks. All the games suck.
Golf tournament adventures.
Golf tournament adventures, baby.
What you
That's what
buy
I
them
like to
for.
play. That's what I'm here for. Play golf. All the shit around the golf sucks ass. Get out of here.
But yeah, how do you guys feel about that sort of like point?
The point that you can enjoy things that aren't necessarily
Yeah,
objectively
like
good.
like just come on,
Yeah.
talk.
I agree with that.
Yeah, Jack.
I want your thoughts.
Okay. I mean, I feel like there's plenty. I know the internet is like you only hear like the most negative of opinions blasted into your eyeballs because that's what people feed off of. They just feed off of negativity, and like talking shit on things is fun. But like you can still enjoy things that are, the internet doesn't like, that are, I mean, maybe it has some problems, but doesn't mean you can't have fun with it.
Like what's a game that you would say like a lot of people would say just isn't very good, but like you still like really like?
Sonic Adventure 1. That is my go-to answer every single time because objectively,
It's
there's
a
lot of
pretty
shit
good
wrong
answer
with
at
it.
this point.
It's
pretty bad
aged,
game.
It hasn't aged the best. I'll say that
Hey.
much. But no, I can play through that game in one sitting, like zero issue, like at pretty much any time of year. Just like, yeah, I'll sit down and play through all of Sonic Adventure 1. It's not a great game, but I still enjoy it enough to play through all of it. So there you go. And a lot of people like to say that game sucks, including Landon.
Because it does.
There you go.
Yeah. Easy.
Lennon, do you have a game like that?
No, all games that I like are perfect in every way. There's not a single game that I think is
okay.
Landon came to the table ready to play the villain.
What about Arcrise Fantasia?
That game is a perfect 10 out of 10.
What about
has
Sonic
combat?
and the Black Knight?
Perfect 10 out of 10. Has combat.
What about Racketeer and Item Shop's Tale?
That game's a perfect 5 out of 10. Has combat.
Damn, Al said GameSpot gave Yu-Gi-Oh! Falsebound Kingdom a 3, and he really likes that game. I haven't played Falsebound Kingdom. I've wanted to. It's part of that whole trilogy of like weird Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. You got Forbidden Memories, Duelist of the Roses, and then Falsebound Kingdom. Still got to play that one.
Okay, I'll start with a general one on video games. We're at a point where we have like reached the realism graphical peak, and we should not try to strive any further than how far we've already come. Like, video game graphics peaked in 2016 with Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, and that game took maybe 4 years to develop. I don't know when they started it exactly, but it was main team Naughty Dog, and they did put out The Last of Us in 2013. So, like, I don't know, man. how realistic do we need to get? Like, how many thousands of hours do we need people to be developing these games so that the water graphics are absolutely perfect, and so that the horse hair looks stunning? I don't fucking know, but games take too long to develop, and you hear way too often about games that took a long ass time to develop, about people who experienced like shitty working conditions when developing these games. And I think a root cause of that is trying way too hard to make these games look as pretty and realistic as possible.
Yeah, like the games are
So
trying to be too
cut
hard to
back
be
on that shit.
like the games are trying too hard to be cutting edge when there's not much edge left to cut.
Like there is no reason for a game to take longer than like 5 years to develop. If you're working with like a AAA studio, you know, like obviously like some indie games that are made with like one or two people will take longer in some cases, but as far as like AAA developed and published titles, like going back to Grand Theft Auto, why Grand Theft Auto 6 still isn't out, and it's been 12 years since Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, what the fuck is taking them so long? And I don't even give a shit about Grand Theft Auto. Like that, this is coming from someone who like doesn't really have too much of a horse in the race one way or the other. Like Grand Theft Auto is fine, but I don't really go out of my way to play the new games when they come out. But like, why is it taking them 13 years to put this game out?
They had to work on the poop mechanics from Red Dead Redemption 2 for horses.
True.
That's,
True.
So you have
The
to
poop
take out
mechanics
that chunk of time.
You know what? Take back everything I said. The poop mechanics are important. You got to have those in games.
Yeah,
Even if it
that's
takes
the real
10
cutting
years.
edge we need to chase. It's not that we need to stop chasing the cutting edge. We need to start chasing the cutting edge that matters, and that's poop textures.
That's probably not. I mean, my opinion probably isn't a very hot take. I think it's generally agreed upon that like developers should not have shitty working conditions, and also games shouldn't take 13 years to release. But you know.
I think the hot part of the take was how you opened it though, like the fact that like we need to stop trying to make every game look as realistic as possible on the hardware that we have.
I'll focus on that and say like like hyper realistic graphics are boring. Like if I want like really
There's the hot take. There we go.
Nice looking graphics, I could go outside. Just go to a fucking just go to a fucking nature preserve or something.
Now you're spitting.
Like,
all right.
I feel like you can have beautiful areas and like, hold on, let me finish my thing. You can have like beautiful looking areas and like sprawling nature and still have it look like pretty good without putting too much effort into the graphics. Like Xenoblade, for example. Gorgeous world in that game. Every area is stunning. And I was blown away by every goddamn part of that game when I first played it on the Wii. And the Wii is not a very powerful system. So I feel like you can elicit that emotion of like, wow, this game looks crazy without like putting too much effort into the graphical part of the game. You know what I mean? Is that coming across at all?
I get what you mean. It's kind of more like just the artistic design, not so much the how many pixels of textures can we shove into this game.
All right, I'll TLDR it. Artistic expression or artistic design in visuals is more important than realism. Of course, there's different situations where one would call for one side. A specific game would call for one side more than the other. Like I don't think Until Dawn would hit quite as hard if it was like hyper cartoony and weird looking. But like it doesn't have to look amazing, you know? It doesn't have to be like 100% like real life.
Yeah, you don't have to have that rock that's like 50 miles off in the distance having like textures at like 4K, 8K resolution in order to for the game to like look good as it needs to. I got you.
Okay, that's my opinion. Landon, you go now.
I want to hear one from Landon as well.
Oh, I didn't come with anything because I've been raising 2 children.
Oh,
so my hot take is Uh,
You wanted to bounce off of us this episode?
children.
Children
You're
are
hot.
hard to raise.
Children are hard to raise. They suck up all your time. Hot take: Balatro on mobile is fun.
Is
Mobile
that a hot
Is that a
gaming
take?
hot
can
take?
can
I
be
I I,
enjoyable.
I legitimately don't know if that's a hot take
I
or
don't know.
not.
Probably not.
No,
It's
I think a lot of
Balatro.
people play Balatro on mobile.
I think a lot of people play it on PC as well. So who knows?
Okay. All right, I have another one. I think people overvalue how, like, people put too much value into how long a game is and how much content there is in it.
Oh,
Like,
I have the same one. I worded it
I
differently.
think I think a short game can have just as much of an impact as a long game in a shorter span of time. And like, you know, obviously there are some cases where you want like a certain genre of game to be on the longer side just to feel like you have a sense of progression. Like, obviously I prefer a JRPG to be longer than like 10 hours, but like a lot of games, especially more like cinematic ones, can I feel like you can just make it like 10 to 12 hours and that would be perfect. To go back to Uncharted 4 again,
Hey,
that game
Uh-oh. That game
is fucking
sucks.
that game shut the fuck up, Landon. That game is fucking phenomenal and it's only like 10 to 11 hours long or 12. I don't remember exactly, but it's not super long.
yeah, no, I
And it's
agree. I put this on here and I summarized it as game length does not equal value. Like,
I literally put game world size does not, or yeah, game length does not equal game quality.
yeah. And basically how I thought about it is basically it's similar to how you worded it. Like I think that it really depends on the genre what you're looking at, but it's not always about the game. And I'm coming from the like the whole realm of like I play a lot of RPGs, especially lately. But like the game does not have to be super super long for it to be really good. Like 3D platformers, I can be a little picky about nowadays because like I really like a good platformer, but I feel like some of them are trying to pack so much content, and then I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend that much time on a platformer. I'd rather play
Yeah.
just a little. I'd rather just play like a shorter platformer and just be like, oh, I had a blast playing that. Than oh, hey, there's like a million different collectibles and like a bajillion different extra levels that you should do, and like that
You-
overwhelms me. Like sometimes I just
yeah.
want a nice
There
short platformer.
I agree with that. I think there are some games that have too much content in them. Um like to shift it. Okay. Okay, Landon.
Landon's
Shaking
like
your head
shaking
no.
his head.
Uh
Nah,
there
not enough
are
content.
um there are some, and this kind of boils down to a lot of open world games, but there are some open world games that just have too much content in them. Like, you can beat probably the main story in a reasonable amount of time, but there are just so many goddamn collectibles and shit that you need to do for completion's sake. And I get it, it's all optional, but like, I have never given a fuck about getting all of the Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild. And I'm not trying to shit talk Breath of the Wild, but there's so fucking many Korok seeds. I don't remember the exact number, but isn't it like 700 something? I'm gonna look that up.
I was gonna say I don't
Or
remember. I know one of the games it was like closer to 1,000, but I don't remember if that was
I
Tears of
think
the
that's
Kingdom or not.
Tears of the Kingdom. I
And
think
I
Tears of
mean,
the Kingdom got it at over a
there, there
thousand.
are there are 900 Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild. I thought I was overselling it. I was underselling it.
yeah.
200 or 900.
And I agree. I mean, I don't have a problem with Breath of the Wild so much though, because like Breath of the Wild, it's like it's pretty much that is like the bulk of like the extra side stuff that you can do. But like that's one of the reasons why I still haven't finished my playthrough of Tears of the Kingdom is just because there's so much. Like I've said this before, but like sometimes a game can have such a thing as too much content to do. Because I mean, I'm not a
Sometimes
complete
games are overwhelming.
like I'm not even like a completionist anymore. But like even so much as like trying to get through a game and get as much content as I want out of it. sometimes I get overwhelmed because like, oh, there's so much of it, and I would like to try to engage with it, but there's so much of it, I don't even know if I can handle it. Like, I think quite a lot of people went into like Persona 5 with that mindset of like, there's too much game here because it's such a long game that like that's why I put it off for months when I got it back in like 2017. Like I bought it in like pretty much right after it came out, and I'm like, I don't know when I'm gonna get to this. And like I finally did later that year because I wanted to play it because everybody was saying it was great. But like I had it and I was like, I don't know when I'm gonna get to this. This is a 100-hour game. Just the story. Like this is a 100-hour investment. And like even
Yeah.
with JRPGs, like I love a good long meaty JRPG. Sometimes you really need to be ready for the commitment. Like you got to get in the mindset. And like that's not always something that I think everyone is willing to do, and they don't have to be willing to do. Like they shouldn't have to force themselves if they don't want to, like in order to get all that. But yeah, no, I agree. Like the game, it depends on like which genre we're talking about, but like it's not always about like how long a game is. Sometimes it's just like the experience you got with it in the time you spent is what matters.
I remember specifically there was a time um when I was working at Meyer back in the day, and I was working in electronics, and there was a guy who was looking for a recommendation for a new shooter, and I'm like, oh, play Doom 2016 because it had like just come out a couple months ago. This is one of the best fucking games of the year, and it is a blast to play from start to finish. And he's like, oh, how long is it? And I'm like, well, I think he asked first. He's like, does it have multiplayer? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, it has multiplayer, but like, the focus and the bulk of the game is in its single player. And he's like, well, how long is it? And I'm like, about 15, 16 hours ish. Depends on if you collect everything. And he's like, oh, that's it? And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? That is like
That's a
a
pretty
good
decent.
length for a game.
That's a decent size like
And he
for that kind of game. No.
I don't remember what he ended up buying, but I'm pretty sure it was like Call of Duty or something. Like he just wanted a fucking multiplayer game. I think I like I'll shift to a slightly a different hot take. I like multiplayer in games, but I feel like local multiplayer is severely undervalued in modern gaming. There are like way too many games where it's like Fortnite, and you play online and you play with 1,000 people in one game, and it's like, oh, it's amazing. But like, I don't know, man. I like playing a game on the couch with my friends, and
Yeah.
there's not enough games out there that like focus on that anymore.
Yeah, there's not
But
nearly enough of
people
that.
don't leave their house, Jack. People just don't leave their house.
Yeah, sometimes. Um,
It's just how it is.
yeah, I don't know. Let's see.
I have one actually.
Okay, go for it.
It's a little more specific though. I'm gonna get to like a specific genre of game. And this goes
Okay.
back to like I've been big on RPGs lately, and there's something that I've noticed like the RPG gaming community kind of like bashing on quite a lot, and it's 2025, so I get why people like look down on it, but grinding in RPGs does not have to be bad. It's not a negative thing inherently. And I'm so sick of people talking about grinding in RPGs like it is immediately a bad thing. It depends on what you're doing with that time, but I think that sometimes grinding in RPGs, if it's done, if the pacing of the game, the encounter rates and everything, if all that's handled well, like it's going to feel more like you're just experiencing more of what the game and the world has to offer and less like a chore. Like Dragon Quest, I've never felt like grinding was a problem in those games because I love encountering new enemies and finding nooks and crannies everywhere all over the worlds. And like it's just part of the game that I'm going to get into a bunch of encounters. I'm going to be fighting a lot of monsters. I'm going to be leveling up a lot in order to move on. And it's fine because I'm having a blast because of that world building makes it enjoyable. I do not think that a game has to be, oh, this game's grindy, so it sucks. It's not fun. It's like, that's not necessarily true. Like there's a lot of games that have like bestiaries, like Monster Tamers or earlier Final Fantasies that have it added in. We're like searching out the monsters and like trying to kill them and like fill that out and complete it. Like that's part of the fun, and that's technically a grindy thing. But like it's fun as long as the encounter rate is not like every few steps. Like you can, it's something that's enjoyable even though it'd be considered grinding. I'm surprised Landon hasn't chimed in on this one. No, nothing.
Uh,
I
hold
want to
on.
hear your thoughts on something.
Well,
I,
Jack moved on before I could chime in on the last one. I don't even remember what he
I,
said
he
in the
was
last
talking
one.
about
What were we?
multiplayer, and I remember you were
Oh,
like, yep.
yep. I love multiplayer. They need more online multiplayer. No. So grinding in video games, is it good or bad? Ooh. Mm, I don't know. There are times where I'm fine with it, and then there's times where I get stuck on a bus and like the only thing to do to like get to where I can beat it is like level up 20 times, and like it takes like an hour to an hour and a half to level up once. I don't want to do that. Like having to grind out those levels is not fun at that point. So it just kind of depends on like what the context of the grind is.
Well, yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make, though. Is like,
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I guess I'm agreeing with you is like I don't want like I do not want to finish SMT Strange Journey Redux because it would take me multiple hours to get to the point where I could potentially be like attempt the final boss. So I
well,
just dropped the game
well, what's a game where
because
like what's a game where the
it was
grinding
too
was
grindy at
fine?
that point.
Because that's the point I'm trying to make. Is
Um
like, there's games that's okay. That's the hot take I'm
I
trying to
mean,
make.
well, I'm trying to debunk your hot take because
Yeah,
that's my
but
point.
what's the point of this
Uh
podcast if we're just gonna like? I mean,
I don't know.
I guess somebody's got to play villain.
My hot take is your hot takes are lukewarm at best. So games that I've enjoyed grinding in, I would say uh most of the Trails games because I enjoy like filling out the bestiary. But they also like give you stuff for that usually. Like there's some sort of reward. Sometimes it's just a like a trophy, but a lot of times those in-game trophies when you do New Game Plus, like you can carry over more things. So like that's sort of the like offset of like filling out the bestiary throughout a lot of the Trails games. uh, the entirety of Dragon Quest 1 is just to grind to like level 40 to beat the final boss, but there's a really good like it feels like a good adventure the whole time. So it doesn't feel like you're just like grinding up to level 40, even though that is literally what you're trying to do.
Level 40. Did they
But that game
expand
is
did they expand the level cap in
oh
one?
maybe
Because I remember it
oh
used to
maybe
be
it's
30,
30
but it
or
might have been increased. I don't know. I haven't played.
it must be 30 then. I'm just like you have to obtain like a
Yeah.
high level to like take on the final boss in that game to like really survive. Um let's see. I enjoyed grinding in Arcrise Fantasia because I liked the combat system was fun, but two, like unlocking the extra abilities for a lot of the weapons required you to like grind up certain amount of like weapon points for every like weapon. So you would like I would just get into fights and like grind that, but that was just to like broaden out my repertoire of like weaponry for all the characters. So I enjoyed doing that even though it's not required, but it's something like I did. So there are times where that is, but then you have games like I Bravely Default, where the entire back half of the game is just a huge grind. And I would say that game is grindy, and I don't care for like the back half of Bravely Default, even though I really like the combat system in that game. So And like
I'll
individual
say
fights are fun.
I'll add to that, like, grinding is something that can be a turnoff for me. It depends really. Um, if it feels like I'm making a lot of good progress and like I don't know, there's a lot of factors that can go into making grinding less tedious, whether it be having a fun combat system or having a wide variety of wacky enemies or having a good combat theme or just the combat itself is fun. But I sometimes there just comes a point in an RPG where I'm like, all right, well, I'm kind of bored of grinding, and it becomes like I need to have something on in the background while I grind to like satiate my boredom. So I guess that's my counterpoint. It's not really a counterpoint, but you know, I'm picky on that particular subject of grinding.
I think it just comes down to the amount of hours you want to like put into it versus what you wanted like when you feel like you can move on from it.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
I said, like there's like SMT Strange Journey is one, but like Xenoblade Chronicles X is another where like I got to the final boss and I was like way under leveled. And like to get to that level would take so many hours and it just like wasn't worth it to me. So it's just like that's the payoff. Like is like is the amount of time I'm going to spend to get there like worth whatever like the end result is. So I think that's sort of like the decision people have to make when it comes to like grindiness of a video game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have some more specific stuff I could say. Uh that it you know what, actually I'll say something uh a little more general. I think there are some games that are released kind of half baked and then they put out like 1,000 DLC packs.
Is that a hot take?
And
That's a really that's a cold take.
is
Like
is it? All right,
that's
yeah, I guess
literally a
so.
thing that like but like a lot of people online are always like complaining about. Like
I
a lot
I
of
guess
people
I
online are
guess
always like, "Oh, I'm sick of these games not coming out finished."
I mean
Very
I guess I
popular
would
thing.
say I would rather like them just make a second game with the same engine rather than put out like 1,000 DLC packs and end up making the game cost like 4 times as much as the original price. Like
Basically, he's saying
fighting
he
games are
just
really
wants
guilty of this.
Xenoverse 3. That's all he's saying. That's his hot take.
Yeah,
Jack wants Xenoverse 3.
that.
That's what he wants.
Hey, I bought Xenoverse 2 on launch day.
He did.
I still haven't
But
played
then
it.
the amount of DLC they put out for the game has turned him off of it. Xenoverse
Yeah.
2 is a terrible game. That's what Jack is saying.
You know what?
Okay.
Sure. Say. I will say that like doing something like that is like will make me not want to play the game because then I'll feel like I'm missing out if I don't have like all of the fucking added content. And shit. All right, I don't know. This isn't really a hot take. I'm going to just throw out a specific one. I like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet more than Legends Arceus. Go.
That is a hot take,
Yeah.
actually.
There we go.
Al said he doesn't like when some games lock things behind grinding to a really high number that you wouldn't reach without actively going for it. Like 750 preemptive brave attacks and Trails in the Sky first chapter.
Hell yeah,
Damn.
brother. That's what I love doing that.
What the
Going out
fuck?
of my way every single moment to do a brave attack. I love doing that shit. That's the grind I'm here for.
I
Nonsense.
will,
Crazy.
before we leave that point though, I do want to make a counterpoint. And this is actually a hot take because I know a lot of people do not feel that way. And I'm not saying that there's not things wrong with this practice. but I actually believe that fundamentally DLC is a net positive. Let hear me out. Hear me out.
No.
Okay, go for it.
I'm gonna close my ears right now.
Okay.
La 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 la.
Okay, I've opened my ears.
I'm good.
He's better.
No. Go on. I want to hear about it.
So so DLC obviously fundamentally a lot of people don't like it, and there are companies that obviously specifically plan for DLC, so they'll hold back stuff from a base game. Like that's not a thing that doesn't happen. It's a thing that happens. Yes, I get it. I get it. But here's the thing. The DLC is often in game design stuff that so when a game is being made, especially by like a larger team, there's going to be a lot of stuff that like in their vision of what the game is going to become, they have to cut certain ideas. And in the past, before DLC was a thing, if you were lucky, that would just end up in a sequel. Like Jack said, just make a sequel, just make another game that has all this extra stuff you would have put on it. But a lot of the time, you were not lucky, and there just was no other game. There was no other content. What they planned for and what they, whatever they cut was just gone and lost, and you weren't going to see it. And you got the game that they gave you because that was the vision, like that was the most complete vision of what they were trying to make. With DLC, they can both take those ideas that they weren't quite able to really manifest in the game and add it to the game later. And because they have to have people to work on that DLC, it actually gives more people jobs in the industry by having having a smaller team that can devote themselves to that they wouldn't normally have for any, like they wouldn't have anything else to do because the DLC wouldn't exist otherwise. So I feel like it depends on the game. There's games where like obviously like EA and shit like that, like they're horrible about this. Like I'm not saying that like this is a perfect practice, but like there's stuff the the smaller stuff like Splatoon 2 or and I'm not even talking about like just like the free updates, like the Octo expansion or with Zelda Breath of the Wild and like the expansion pass for that. Like that is content that like that would have just never showed up at all. Like they would have like taken that and they would have been like, this doesn't really
Yeah.
fit for our vision of the game, and like it just wouldn't you just wouldn't get it at all. But thanks to the fact that DLC is possible, they can take that idea and they're like, you know what, we can do something with this, and you get a bunch of new content for the game that you already like. And it can vary. It's not always like a huge scale thing. Sometimes it's like a Fire Emblem Awakening on 3DS thing where like you get a bunch of small little like extra chapters with like returning characters from like previous games, like how they added like Marth, and like you go to like this little spot to like unlock him and like a couple other characters. And like you might not see that otherwise if it weren't for the fact that they could update the game and add that stuff in later. And that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that like not every game is like DLC is a bad thing. Like sometimes DLC can enhance the experience for someone who is really invested in the game by giving them more stuff to do in a way that's not overwhelming as well. It's like now here, like
Yeah.
you've done this whole game. Now here's some extra stuff that you can do on top of it. So I
I
mean,
think the I think
I'm picky about it, but I like it
I
sometimes.
think you brought up Splatoon 2, and I think that's kind of like the optimal way for games to do DLC. Because I'll admit that like Splatoon 1 was like basically an unfinished game when they released it, but they added a shitload of free updates and never forced anyone to pay anything extra for any of the added content in that game. They were just like, all right, here's some more content, here's some more content, here's new maps, here's new maps, here's new weapons, new hairstyles, new accessories, new whatever the fuck. And they reserved in Splatoon 2 specifically, they reserved the paid DLC for one that added in an entirely new like story mode, like a single player like campaign that actually feels like it's worth paying the extra money for. Whereas a bad example of DLC A lot of fighting games do this, but it's one specific game that pisses me off because I really enjoyed it when it came out, but I'm just endlessly waiting for like a complete edition to come out. Is fucking Guilty Gear Strive. There were, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 characters on disc when the game came out. They have had 4 season passes since the game has released and are still actively adding characters to
Dragon Ball
this game.
Fighters is getting to that point too. Like,
Yep.
it makes me sad because like I love that game like mechanically, but I feel like I will never be able to go back to it because it'll never feel complete unless I spend dozens of extra dollars, like 100 some odd dollars, whatever it's going to cost to get all this extra DLC, or wait for a deep sale that may or may not happen. It's like, but there's so many characters, but I'll never be able to use them.
You know how many DLC characters that Guilty Gear Strive has? 17.
So
More
they've
than
more than doubled.
doubling the base cast. Yes. And
I
it's like
think
each season pass costs like $30 and it's like fucking
that's a lot.
ridiculous.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, that's really bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
But
Yeah.
guys, the jobs for ArcSoft to keep
True.
making
Arc
those
system.
people. Yeah,
They must
whatever.
have quite a few people that are like round the clock working on a lot of this stuff now, because they've got quite a few games now in the pipe where like they're doing this sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know,
What if
I
another.
mean,
Oh, go ahead, Landon.
what
What?
if these companies had like I don't want to say some shit that some groups have said, but like I really wish we still lived in a time. This is probably not really much of a hot take, but I wish we were lived in a time where it was still common practice to release a like game of the year or complete edition with the content
yeah,
on like a disc.
I agree.
Yeah. No, I mean that.
That way you
Yeah,
felt like, oh, I've got the majority or whole game at
Like,
this point.
yeah, it's like that was a very common thing back in like the PS3 360 era,
yeah,
where like a game would get like a few packs of DLC and then they would release like a complete or game of the year edition. So it's like, oh hey, now people who like missed out on it the first time can have the entire game on a single disc or two. Sometimes it's 2 discs. Sometimes they have like an install disc for the DLC. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think games should be doing that more.
yeah. No, true. I mean
And I
that's not the hot take, but it's definitely something that like, if we're gonna live in the age of DLC, and I'm fine with it for the most part, it's just gonna be a thing. Like, why can't we have more of that?
yeah,
You were saying though.
I agree. Um I think that was really all I had to say. Um
Did you have something more specific you were bringing up, or you have another general one? We should
um
go with something a little more specific, because I've definitely hit with quite a few general ones, and I have another
yeah,
one that's general, but I'd rather wait until we get into something a little more specific. Switch
all
it up
right.
a little bit.
All right, I have a specific one. You know what? Let's Lennon, what's your opinion on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet versus Legends Arceus? Cuz I know you actually completed Scarlet and Violet.
You beat
I
it.
did.
Yeah.
Mm,
Did you get? I don't remember if you. I think you didn't get you didn't do the DLC yet, but you played through the entire main story plus the.
yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't done the DLC, but I have done all of the main story at this point. I think, technically speaking, I mean, this goes back to what Cloud was saying. I think Legends Arceus is a better game that I don't want to play.
Yeah.
But Scarlet and
Whereas
Violet is a worse game that you would rather play.
that I would rather play. And it's just because of how the Pokedex is handled and like that whole mechanic. And then like both of them are games I don't really want to play because they're just like, here's huge open areas for you to go fucking explore. And I'm just like, I don't have time for that.
Yeah,
But that's just me and
that's fair.
Pokemon. That's my Pokemon issue. Current day
I was
Pokemon.
just I was just
But
curious.
yeah,
I
I
think
think
yeah, I would probably agree that objectively speaking Scarlet and Violet is the worst game, but like I enjoyed my time with Scarlet and Violet more.
I think it just comes down to like the gameplay loop
Yeah.
is Pokemon Scarlet Violet has more of a traditional like gameplay loop where Legends is trying something new. And
Yeah.
if you're on board for that, cool. If it doesn't meet what you kind of want, then I think it's going to bounce off of you, and that's just where I'm at with it. I plan on going back and playing through it at some point. I'll probably just pick up where I left off on Legends, but I'll go back and like try and beat it at some point just to see if like it clicks with me. But that's something like some games just don't click with people.
Yeah. And I don't think there's anything
And
necessarily wrong with that.
and sometimes it might take a couple times to try to get it to click, and then sometimes,
Yeah.
it just never does.
Yeah. There have been times where I kind of have to like force myself through the early hours of a game just because I'm like, okay, I want to see it through and see if it gets interesting. And then it clicks at a certain point and then it like starts flowing more and more and I start like actively wanting to go out of my way to play it.
You know what? I think this is a good way to like bring up a new point that is a bit of a hot take, and that is that it is okay for a game to have to take a little time to get you going. There's so many people that I have seen bitch because, oh, it's taking too long for this game to really start. There's always there's obviously there's games where like the tutorial section, as they say, takes a little bit long, but like usually those opening hours is because like you need to get to learn the mechanics and stuff like that. And if you're not willing to learn the mechanics, how are you supposed to enjoy the game at all anyway? And sometimes a game can't do that in like the most fun way, but a lot of games they try to put you in a situation where you can learn how it works, and then once it lets you out and lets you loose, like you can enjoy the game. And a lot of people are like, "Well,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that." And like it's fine if the game has to do that. Like a game sometimes
Yeah.
has to do that and it's okay.
I don't think it's necessarily an issue for like the early game of, we'll say, an RPG, because a lot of the time it's in RPGs that this happens, where like the first hour or two is kind of like railroady just to kind of get you used to the game's mechanics and like setting up the world and story and everything before it sets you free and lets you do your own thing.
We'll be fair.
And
A lot of RPGs, it's a few hours because like they have opening story segments that open you up to the world, and then
yeah,
also the mechanical tutorial that opens you up to how the game plays.
yeah.
But yeah.
Like
I
Persona 5, it's the first 25 hours. And then after that, if you're still
but
with
after
us
that it
after
gets good.
25,
Like
that's when it starts to maybe get good.
but like I so like one of my favorite games that I've played this year is Persona 4 Golden, and that game takes a hot minute for you to be able to even get into
I
gameplay, let alone like actually start like get learning how the game works. Like
yeah, I
Persona
will
there's
say
5 is the same way,
yeah,
honestly. It takes a while before you get into a dungeon.
yeah, it takes a long time, but like once you get in there because of the length of the rest of the game ahead of you, and because of the solid foundation they built, like the rest of the game, you're just going, and it's just like everything's
yeah.
clicking. You're learning. You're getting a little bit more and more stuff to do as you progress, and it's that necessary evil. You got to get that opening hours, and you got to eat your veggies, and then you can have the full course. Like it's fine.
I think it's where was I going with this? It really depends. I mean, in RPGs, I think it's necessary to have like kind of a slow intro to the game just to kind of acquaint you with everything. But like, obviously, it depends on like the size of the game because a shorter game, like say a platformer or like an action game, that can throw you right in at the beginning and you can kind of figure everything out because it's going to be a little more like straightforward in terms of progression. It's going to be a little bit more like, I think, because like just due to the nature of RPGs, having like a slow intro is kind of necessary to get you like into the groove of the gameplay loop.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah. And like, yeah, Persona 4 Golden definitely has a slow start, but like I never really mind when I'm playing it because like, once the game opens up, it becomes really fun and like I've immersed myself in this world.
I think a game that's not an RPG where like this sort of thing is like it's like I think I really think of is the couple of 3D Zeldas that I've like really grown attached to. They have like that segment where like in the opening where you're kind of railroaded for quite a bit. In Ocarina of Time, it's the you're stuck in Kokiri Forest and you don't really have the rest of the open like area with Hyrule Field and everything to explore yet. You have to do this section. Uh, with the Great Deku Tree and everything, but it gets you acquainted with characters, the atmosphere of the game, and you can kind of like in a safe place learn how the game is going to play out. And then with Breath of the Wild, it's your opening island before you get the paraglider and can actually like go off into like the rest of the open world. And that it's a little, it's a little bit of time you got to spend on those segments, but like you get rewarded for it because that payoff is when you get into that big wide open area. You have it's like just kind of a rush of like now you've got this huge world to explore and this like huge journey out ahead of you. And like you couldn't get that sensation if the game just dropped you right in, I don't think. Like I feel like the payoff wouldn't be quite as good.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
really fun to get dropped into Zelda 1 and have the entire map to just run around in.
That's true.
It is until you wander off into like one random section that you probably shouldn't have, and then you get like ganked by a fucking bunch of enemies that you weren't prepared for, and then you just die, and then you have to go all the way back to the
Yeah.
beginning.
But then you
You're
get into
supposed to
like
just
the
be
argument.
good at the video game from the start.
Then
What
you
the
just
heck?
get into the argument of like how much direction is too much direction and like how much is too little,
Yeah.
where like it just kind of drops you in and just says have fun. It's like, what am I doing? Please help.
No help.
And then an old man
No
tells
help.
you it's a secret to everybody.
Yeah. Take this.
Anyway,
Take this.
let's see. Speaking of Zelda, I have a specific Zelda hot take written down that does not involve Zelda 1. And I've
Oh.
probably mentioned it several times before, but it's a game that the good chunk of the franchise or good chunk of the fan base really loves to gas up, especially the older fans. Link to the Past is overrated. I think that
Yeah.
I think that 2D Zeldas like okay, I understand for the time, it being the third game in the franchise, it was like pretty crazy to have that much of a quality jump from the first two games, and I get that. But 2D Zeldas have only gotten better over time, I think. And this is coming from me. I recently played Minish Cap not too long ago for the stream, and I enjoyed that. I mean, I already knew Minish Cap was my favorite 2D Zelda game, but like with a fresh playthrough in my mind, I enjoyed that game way more than I enjoyed Link to the Past when I did that for the channel. Like, parts of Link to the Past are kind of a slog, and not all of the dungeons are very good. Some of them are pretty annoying.
Quick,
So,
rank every single 2D Zelda so I can judge you.
oh God, don't ask me to do that.
I just did. It's too late.
Oh fuck. Minish Cap is the best one.
Mm.
Zelda 2 is the worst one.
Mm. No,
Everything
I don't
in
like
between
it.
is kind of a wash.
Whew.
All right, Landon,
Don't
why
like
don't
his
you
point.
tell
Don't
us
like
your
his point.
opinion on Ocarina of Time? Your famous opinion on Ocarina of Time.
Is my opinion on Ocarina of Time really a hot take?
Yes.
No. I mean, yes.
I mean,
in
it's
general,
it's
yes.
it's slightly less of a hot take as it used to be, but it's still pretty hot take.
I was going to
Yeah,
say,
I mean-
eventually my take will be the norm take. One day.
One day,
Enough people will die off
in the
that.
distant future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking 3 light years. That's light years. That's
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 distance.
distance. That's not time,
That's not time.
folks.
Yeah.
Don't fall for the youngster in Brock's gym saying that
yeah,
light years is your light years from Brock.
I am not. Well,
How many light
depends
years?
on how many
exactly?
light years I am from Brock.
It's like 0.000000000.
I think he says 1,000 or
I
something
know
like
he
that.
does,
He's
but
like,
that's incorrect. I am
very
not
much
a.
incorrect.
you're
I
like
am
10
not
feet
1,000 light years from Brock.
You're like
but-
10 feet away from him.
Yeah, is a little bit different. I am 3 millennia from. That's what I meant to say. 3 millennia from my opinion being the norm. I think on Ocarina of Time. I think
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time baseline is a fine game, but like Jack said, it is a formula that has been like improved upon. You know, sometimes we go a
Yeah.
little but there
It's
has been like enough iteration on this formula that it is not the gold standard anymore.
yeah,
Uh
like just because just because a game invented a formula does not necessarily automatically make it the best one that did the formula. And while something like Twilight Princess might not be as original, in fact, a lot of people at the time complained that it was like just ripping off of Ocarina of Time.
yeah.
It's not really, honestly. I feel like it does enough unique that it like separates itself from Ocarina of Time. But like in a lot of ways, Twilight Princess is better. In some ways, it's worse, but in a lot of ways, it's better. And I think that just because Ocarina of Time was like the first one to have the 3D Zelda formula doesn't make it the best one
It's like
Okay.
saying Mario 64 is the best 3D platformer.
because it was the first one. And it's like,
No.
okay, have you tried Gex? Have you opened your eyes to Gex?
You know,
Here's the hot take. Gex.
Gex. That's it. That's the hot
That's it.
take.
That's the
it's just
take.
that's the
Gex.
take. Just Gex. One thing I have been thinking about for a while, and like it wasn't something that I really thought about today until like you mentioned, uh, but as a I'm not saying that like the games from the past are going to be like the quintessential versions of the formula, but I do think that there's quite a few series where if somebody wants to get into the series, like even if they play like a later entry first, like I do think that there's more series out there where like people should be willing to play like the earlier entries and like see where the series evolved, because there's a lot of people online that'll be like, "Oh, you don't need to play these earlier entries because these ones are just better." And it's like that doesn't, like if you really want to like get into a series, if you want to become a fan of a series, you have to understand where it evolved from. Like you're never going to appreciate the advancements of like Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Sonic Mania if you don't play Sonic 1 at some point to be like, "Oh, these games are way better because they did this stuff better than Sonic 1." You won't be able to see that contrast. Or like Pokemon. Like
Yeah.
if you play like Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, or like Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Black and White, and like you really like them, but like if you aren't willing to try Red and Blue, like you won't see like, oh, these games were here and then they got to this point. Or, just various series. Like I'm not saying like
Some
every series is like this, but I feel like there's quite a few series where you should be willing to try out the earlier entries to appreciate their evolution.
I think that's fair. I would agree with that, but I also think there are some cases where that is not necessarily mandatory. I think if you want to like dive deeper into a series, then yeah, like definitely play the early entries, but like no one is going to recommend like Call of Duty Finest Hour to anyone.
Well, no, but like
Like
I will.
I'm not thinking about like series like Call of Duty or like Madden NFL or anything like that, where like you can pick up pretty much any of them and you're gonna get the gist of it. But like I'm sure that there's quite a few people that like are gonna be like playing like, I mean, I haven't played it yet. I've heard good things about the game itself, like put whatever every nonsense like outside of the game has been going on, but like I've heard some decent things about Borderlands 4, and Borderlands 4 is coming out so much later than like after the first one. Like there's like a 15-year gap between these two games. There's literally going to be people that are playing Borderlands 4 and like they've never played Borderlands 1. But like if you really want to appreciate how the series has been able to like continue on, like you should probably play Borderlands 1 at some point. Is like the same is the thing I'm trying to say. Like a series
yeah,
that
it's like
has
no,
changed over time.
sometimes the early entries in a series are like forgotten to time. And I think
Sad.
they should be like recognized in some cases.
I think they should stay in their grave and be happy about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like one
Hot take.
series that I think is like really easy to like play the earlier entries. And it's not a series that has evolved quite as much over time, but I still think like if you play like the newer Kirby games, like you can set aside an afternoon and play like Kirby's Dream Land 1, 2, 3, Superstar or whatever, and like understand like this series started like here and has made it to this point. Or like I don't know, like I
I
think
think for Kirby, it should be mandatory to play Dream Course.
I
To
agree.
call
You
yourself a
need
Kirby
get
fan, you have
get
to
a
play
friend,
Dream Course.
play a round of Kirby's Dream Course, watch your friendship crumble.
Yeah. That's why Jack and I are only business acquaintances now.
right. I have one last hot take before, and then like you guys can go at it with whatever anything else you have uh to to add in. And this is probably like the hottest take I've got.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
60 FPS is not necessary for the vast majority of games, and I am sick of people saying otherwise. Yes,
You're right. It is not. We need 120 frames per second. All video games.
Why stop there? We need 360 frames per second.
I don't even think that games reach that yet. Like for the vast majority, I think like the standard like high tier is like 240. That's we need to get 360 frames.
It depends on how strong your machine is and how old of a game you're playing. I've
Yeah,
seen
true.
FPS numbers go up that high before.
That's true. But I mean that's like retrofitting like an old game with like a higher frame rate. I mean,
Yeah. I want current. If Grand Theft Auto, I don't know which one are we on? 6, 7,
we're about to
12,
go on 6 next
3?
year
Okay.
or
All right.
something.
Grand Theft
We'll
Auto
see.
6. If that does not have, would you say 360? I want 480 frames per second for the Switch 2 version. Dead in the water. It's not even worth it. Not
And
worth
it
it.
better be
What's the
on
point?
fucking cartridge too.
Better be on cartridge. Regular ass cartridge, not a game key
Not a
cart.
game key
Oh
card.
goodness.
Listen.
Here's a hot take. Does anyone else think that game key cards suck?
Wow. You're so brave.
Laugh.
Yeah, he's so brave. Look at him come out.
Yeah, like I think
Yeah, I don't know.
I think there's like a few
What did
instances
you
where
say?
like really
frame rate, right?
like really competitive like fighting games that like require all of that precision. Like that's something where yes, you do need more frames. But like I think that the vast majority of games, like even the ones that people say like, "Oh, you need 60 FPS," like platformers most of the time you don't. Like you can get like 60 FPS is awesome to have, but like there's so many platform. I don't think I've played a single platformer where if it was 30 frames per second and not 60, like it would have been a total deal breaker. I think like most of them, the vast majority of them, probably almost all of them would have been totally fine. A little bit to get used to, but fine. And honestly, like 99% of RPGs do not need 60 FPS. I'd much rather that the game had a higher resolution and just keep a stable frame rate and look prettier because that'll keep my attention more when I'm doing a lot of like less action intensive stuff. I think that games that are like more exploratory and slower paced, like horror games or survival games like those don't need 60 fps. It'd be nicer to have prettier higher res visuals because that'll pull you into the world more because you'll be able to do more with that. Like you don't need 60 fps for for most games. You don't. Just make the game run nice and look pretty, and if you can get a smoother frame rate, cool. If you don't need it. Don't need it.
I can't even see past 10 frames per second with my eyeballs, so I don't see what the point of going past that is.
Like I can tell the difference, but like I don't care most.
I think as long as as like you said, as long as the frame rate is consistent and there aren't any like major drops, then yeah, the difference between 30 and 60 is kind of whatever. Like
Yeah.
I like there's a lot of PC nerds who will like shit their pants and complain online when a game is anything less than 60, but
Dude,
does it really matter that much?
I was reading comments that some people were like, "Oh, I am not going to get Digimon Story Time Stranger because 30 FPS is unacceptable." I was like, "Really?
Those
That
are my
game
favorite type
Do,
of comments.
like
do you
and
have
like these
30
people
30
are
30 FPS,
unironic.
sad emoji.
Yeah, they were like unironic. They were like, this is a deal breaker. There's no reason this
on
game shouldn't be 60 FPS." Let me ask a question, Jack. You're enjoying Persona 3 Reload a lot, right? You're playing it on
Yep.
Uh-oh.
you're playing it on PS4, right?
Yep.
That game runs in 30 FPS on PS4.
Yep.
Unplayable.
I highly doubt you're experiencing any difference that is meaningful.
It literally, I mean, all right, here's another example. I mean, I will say when you enter the what are the big red doors in Tartarus called?
Oh, the Monad doors.
Yeah, sometimes when you go to those doors, there's a little bit of frame slowdown, but like for the most part, the game runs perfectly fine on PS4. Here's another one: Sonic Cross Shadow Generations on Switch. I played that entire game on Switch in 30 FPS, and it ran like a fucking dream. Like, I'm honestly shocked that it ran as well as it did because, like, I know the Switch versions of Sonic games are often considered like the lesser versions compared to the more powerful systems or PC, but it really just goes to show as long as it runs smoothly, the difference between 30 and 60 is like negligible. Or I wouldn't say negligible, it's noticeable, but it's not important.
Yeah. And like Sonic Generations on PS3 and 360 back in the day was a 30 FPS game because
It
they
uh,
realized they couldn't really get away with the 60 FPS with the problems they had with Unleashed on PS3. So they were like, all right, fuck it, 30 FPS. I didn't give a shit. Like it felt perfectly fine. Like I never complained about that.
there were a couple of moments in base generations on PS3 with some slowdown, but like again, it's like not really a big deal.
So yeah, that
Um yeah, that's a good one. I mean, like I think we all agree on that, but like the general
the
gaming
general gaming
public
no,
is
absolutely.
I mean, people were freaking out when Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door remake was in 30 FPS. It's like a GameCube game can't run in 60 FPS on the Switch too. It's like as if they didn't just like overhaul the entire game graphically
No, they
Yeah.
and
didn't
make
do that.
everything like look a lot nicer and prettier. It's like
It's like, okay, I
I
guess
didn't
the
give
the color saturation, the lighting engine, like I guess none of that matters because you didn't get your
I
60
didn't give a shit
FPS.
that it was in 30 FPS. Like honestly, I saw like it's a little noticeable at first, like because I'm used to the GameCube. I was used to the GameCube version before playing the remake, but like I got used to it so quickly. Like it's very smooth. Like I'd never experienced any like frame drops or anything in that game. And I think that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with 30 FPS.
All right. You guys have any other hot takes you'd like to share?
Yeah.
Hit us with
Um
one more.
Yeah, I got one.
You got one?
Handheld gaming is superior to console gaming.
All right. I want you to elaborate.
Oh no.
is it
Listen,
because you're a
Uh
parent and that's what you're like
yeah.
more capable of playing right now?
I
Yeah.
mean, to be
I
fair, I always have like gravitated more towards like playing a portable system
yeah.
than a console system. But I think a lot of times they are cheaper than their home console
They're,
counterpoints,
they're cheaper and
and
you
the
can play them
experience you're getting.
anywhere.
Yeah, you can play them anywhere, and then also like the experience you can get, especially today, you can get a full like home console experience on the go, like on a lot of like Steam Deck and the Switch 2 like offer you like a perfectly serviceable way to play these games.
now we're
And
not
I
fans
don't
of them, but I mean now you have Xbox stepping in with you have like all the with their partnership with Asus with the ROG Ally that just came out. There's a bunch of other PC handhelds too that have been doing stuff like Lenovo and shit.
yeah, so I think that's the superior way to play video games, and it's not playing it on a PC. There, I said it.
Yep.
No, I agree. Like,
Computers suck. End of story.
I
I do love handheld gaming.
I like it because it's like, yes, and this ties back to the last point that we were talking about in a loose way about like frame rate difference. Is like, yes, you're gonna have a performance difference by playing on a handheld because it has to account for battery conservation and what can it process with a smaller build, because obviously these handhelds can't go around with like the size of like an Xbox or a PlayStation. Like, then it kind of defeats the purpose of being able to take it with you. But like, that sacrifice makes up for the fact that the like just the world we live in is so much busier and a lot of people have to go places, and it's like, wouldn't you rather have the option to have that to play with you on your downtime than not, just because you wanted more fpss, whatever people, the
The
FPS,
Fippus.
the fpss. Like,
The
sometimes you could take a little less FPS and be able to play more, which honestly that just means you get more FPS because you got more game time.
Oh,
There you go.
There you
And
go.
like you said, I do think there are some instances where FPS is like a 60 FPS is necessary. Fighting games, obviously. I can't do fighting games in 30 FPS. The input's got to be like really precise in those cases. I generally prefer if racing games are in 60, but it's not mandatory. It's just like it's literally just like a trick of the eye where it feels like I'm going faster because of the higher frame rate, but when in reality it's like doesn't really matter that much. Um and that's about it, honestly. Maybe like sports games, but like even then I don't think that's like not super necessary.
How do you feel about handheld gaming? Are you a
Oh,
handheld gaming superior master race?
oh,
no, he hates it.
no, I hate it. Sorry, I thought we were still talking about frame rate.
No, I went back to it to like segue it to like help connect my 2 points, but like,
Okay, fair enough.
because of the performance difference that like people would probably shun portable gaming, but like you can play it
I think
anywhere, which means you get more time to play.
I think I don't have a strong preference. I think when I was a kid, I liked handheld gaming more, but as an adult, I find it kind of hard to focus on a game if I'm in a public setting. Like there's not really a
Okay.
whole lot of there's not really a whole lot of like opportunities for me to even like play a game outside of the house unless it's like I'm taking my Switch with me on vacation and I'm like playing it on the car ride. And even then it's still like sometimes it's kind of hard to like focus and like keep my attention on the game. But I don't know, something about like I like handheld because like I can play something on my bed, I can play something in the bathroom, I can play something wherever the fuck. But like a lot of the time I end up just kind of playing my Switch 2 in docked mode. At least when I'm home anyway, because it's like might as well play it on a bigger screen if I'm home.
Not me. I'm flipping back and forth between those two like every single day of my life.
I don't think
So
I've ever, outside of like streaming something, have played my Switch 2 docked.
that's crazy.
Yeah. I think
That's
for like personal use, it has only been for handheld mode because
that's the
that's where I'm
life.
at. It's
That's
handheld only.
that's the life you live now, and
That is the life everyone should live.
everyone should.
I, I put this curse on both of you. Have fun.
Oh, okay.
All right. Uh, any more last hot takes or?
Um, I mean, we could just rattle off like the general like gaming stooges hot takes that we like all share the opinion of, but like we kind of say a lot. Uh, fuck The Witcher 3, fuck Elder Scrolls in general, fuck Grand Theft Auto. Landon already said that, but might as well say it again. Fuck. Let's see, what else do we not give a shit about? Fortnite. Pretty much any like modern shooter that's popular. Um, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have any other like
We're
major.
not
I
mainstream
that's
gamers,
my
in
list.
case anyone just wanted to know. We
Nope.
I think our
large.
subscriber count says that, like,
Yeah.
confirms that.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. All right. So,
We never
yeah,
try to be anyone but us.
exactly. All
I
right.
try to be someone else all the time.
Jack, can you do the honors of the housekeeping because I have to get up for a second? Just two things.
Sure.
We have not put up the Patreon yet because we ended up doing a really long one and I'm in the middle of editing that. And we haven't put up the poll for our next podcast, but it will be soon. And Jack, if you need to know the details, they
I
are
mean,
in our private chat.
I'm guessing they'll probably be up by the time that this podcast goes live on other platforms, but as of right
God, I
now,
hope
that is
so.
not the case.
Yes, they should be.
But anyway, hey, we have a Discord. You can join us on our Discord in the link below in our description, wherever you're listening to this. If you want to join, you're more than welcome to. We have a Patreon where we have two different tiers, the Silver Stooge tier and the Gold Stooge tier, which you can subscribe to get exclusive content, which by the time this goes up, we will have our Patreon video for the month of October up already. I guess I'll just say what it is since it's probably up by now. It's
Yeah.
we did our Gen 6 Pokemon tier list where we tiered both the new original Pokemon and the Mega Evolutions that were introduced in Pokemon X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. We need to give a shout out to Al, who is our sole Gold Stooge member at the moment anyway. If you join our Gold Stooge tier, you get a shout out in addition to the other things that you get from subscribing to our Patreon. And if not,
And
that's
what
cool.
are those? What are those?
What are those? What, like videos? Like you get to vote on like upcoming streams,
Perfect. There we go.
upcoming podcast topics.
Yeah, you didn't say that.
Oh yeah,
You said the content, but you didn't say.
I neglected to mention that. But yeah, you can vote on the content that you see on our stream. You can vote for our podcast topics. This one was not voted for, but it was one of the two options that we had the last time we had a poll. It was the loser, but
And then we have one coming up that should be like it should be up by the time this is out. And we are going to do a retrospective of one of 2 years. You get to decide between
you get to decide which
2001
year.
and 1997.
It'll be interesting because I wasn't like it'll be interesting to talk about those years because I wasn't like closely following like either of those years in terms of gaming because I was a baby. Well,
I
not a baby,
think
but I was like a toddler.
I mean, I think there's enough games that
Oh
you
yeah, no, for sure.
like
There's
are
enough
in
games that
like
we can.
familiar with.
Oh yeah, no,
'Cause,
there's
like
plenty of games from both of those years that I've played. It's just that I didn't experience the entire year of gaming firsthand. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, neither did I.
But anyway, to wrap this
He's
up,
muted.
we have streams right now. Currently, I and myself and Landon are streaming Metroid Zero Mission. We just got through the main game of Metroid 1, and we're into like the extra post Mother Brain content. So we're getting into that. And Cloud, and featuring myself, has been playing through Silent Hill for the PS on his very real PlayStation 1.
Yes,
We
definitely.
cleared through the main game of
Got the good
Silent Hill
plus
just the other
ending.
day, or just last week, I should say. And actually, yeah, it was last week. And we are
Working on the UFO ending.
currently working towards getting the UFO ending
In the
for
next tier
Silent Hill.
playthrough. It's
Cloud, can you unmute yourself? We can't hear you.
It'll come up on the recording. Don't worry.
Okay. I just wanted to let you know. And I think that's everything. You can expect, perchance, another stream series for Spookfest before the month is over. We shall see.
Maybe.
By the time this goes out, you will have seen, maybe, hopefully.
By the time this goes out, you will know for sure whether it happened. But as far as live goes, stay tuned.
Be sure to check out the Discord for all of your announcements. Also, for the week after this goes live, we might have some extra Dragon Quest streams going up. So
Yeah.
be on the
Sure.
Discord. We might do a little bit of a marathon as a catch up
Nice.
for Dragon Quest 4 Chapters of the Chosen.
Nice.
So, Jack, what you up to?
Boy, howdy, what have I been up to? Honestly, in the past 2 weeks, not much. I feel like I did the bulk of my, a lot of the stuff that I did over the last, before the last previous podcast. I literally don't even think I've been to, any shows since the last one. I mean, I went to a couple of locals, but it's not like, it wasn't like a huge event or anything.
I was looking forward to helping Landon with DQ4 some more. That he missed doing that.
Oh, I guess I saw Modest Mouse. A few
shit,
days after the
really?
last podcast. Yeah, they were in Fort Wayne. The last it was the 10th, I think it was. Yeah, it was Modest Mouse and Built to Spill, which are two bands that I absolutely love, and it was really fun. I haven't seen Modest Mouse live since 2018, and they were good. I had a lot of fun. I've been playing more Persona 3 Reload. I've been trying to get back into the swing of that. I'm in the middle of September right now in that game. I'm trying to work my way to getting back into it. Unfortunately, I'm sick right now. It's not awful, but I am going through it a little bit. And also
You got to take an off day and just plop down in a nice comfy position and just go.
yeah, it's sometimes I just I will admit sometimes I get to a point where I'm like, all right, I need to go to Tartarus, and then it's like, all right, time to grind for a little bit. It's like
grinding.
We talked about that earlier. But yeah, I'll reach the whatever the current cap is for the block of Tartarus, and then I'll just be like, all right, time to go back through the last 12 floors over and over again to level up. And yeah. But I'm it's been going. I'm still working through it. I was playing a little bit of it earlier today.
All right.
So that's about all I got.
You want to hear a hot take real quick?
Tillamook sucks.
No, it's the best ice cream.
Yeah, but that's not a hot take.
No, the hot take is you can eat ice cream with a fork.
Okay,
no. True.
I mean, you can, but why?
That's not a hot take. That's not a hot take. That's just a fact. A hot take would be it is preferable to eat ice cream with a fork than
it
a
is
spoon.
the only way to eat ice cream.
The hot take is you should eat ice cream with a fork.
All right, Lennon,
eat ice cream with a fork.
Here's a question though, Lennon. What happens when your ice cream becomes soup and you can't use the fork anymore?
You shouldn't be eating it then. Put it back in the freezer so it can be not soup.
You drink it.
But Lennon loves when his ice cream becomes soup.
All right. So
you get yourself a straw. Be a man.
What have I
you
been
have a milkshake now?
To, huh?
Yeah.
So last we left off a couple months. Wow, a couple weeks ago. It does feel like a couple of months. I had decided to torture myself by playing Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, which Katie really does not like that game. Like when I told her I was going to play through it for real, she was like, "No!" But I played through it and it was fine. I finished it. I had last left off pretty deep into the game, and I had found myself with some extra time on my hands before Pokemon Legends ZA came out. So I played through another game that maybe I shouldn't have, and I played through Phantasy Star 3, which is the black sheep of that series. Here's a hot take: that game was actually not that bad. I like a lot of people really don't like that game. I
It's
think
true.
I think that the problem with the game is that it heavily relies on backtracking through like the same areas over and over and over, and a lot of the areas are designed in a super fucking basic way. Like all the towns are almost the same, and a lot of the are mostly the same. Quite a few of the world maps are very plain, and there's like not a lot of features to them. And there's like several world maps, but they're all very small, and there's not a whole lot of notable places to go on any of them. But like I really like the lore behind the game, like the whole backstory of like what's going on in the world of Phantasy Star 3. Fantastic. Writing might be awful, but I loved just like understanding what was going on between the three generations. So like that was a pretty fun time. I probably would only play it again if I want to re-experience like all of Fantasy Star. But I think it's a worthy addition to the series, even if a lot of people say that it isn't. So yeah, tying that back in. And then I guess I've been playing this game, this game, Pokemon Legends ZA Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. That is the full name of that
Pokemon
game.
Legends ZA,
Za.
Pokemon
short
Legends.
for pizza.
Oh, no, it's
Definitely
short
that
for
one.
Zigga Zigga.
Zigazga.
Zig
Yes. uh, I'm afraid of giving my opinions on this game because the internet would probably crucify me.
But this is the hot take episode, so it's fine.
All right, you know
You
what?
just labeled it as a hot take.
Here's a hot take. This game is actually really good. I mean, I think there's some faults with it, obviously, but like I'll give more of my thoughts when I've completed it, and also when like we do our year in review, I'll be able to talk about it more. But I am having a really good time with it, and I can't wait to see what the rest of the game has in store. I just got to a super big part of the game, and I will say, even though we didn't have the best of things to say about Pokemon X and Y in our previous podcast, people that played through X and Y are in for a treat, and that is all I'm gonna say.
Is the
That's
treat a cyanide capsule?
no.
Okay.
Uh, I don't think I've done anything like outside of video games that has been all that uh, interesting or exciting, really, lately. No. So yeah, uh, that's it for me. Landon, what you up to?
Hi. What am I up to?
Yeah,
Eating Tillamook, uh, Oregon strawberry ice cream.
you do that every day.
Is what I'm up to right now.
Have you been
What?
doing that the last few weeks? Just eating the same ice cream for 2 weeks?
No, I just opened this up. I
Like,
did finish the Tillamook mudslide.
For the listeners, he tilted the pint to himself to like take a look and inspect it. To just
Just to make sure. I had to double check, even though the seal is right there. I've got it right here. I opened it on camera. Or off camera, I forget. Anyway, gaming wise, I in chapter 2 of Trails in the Sky, first chapter, remake, which means I'm in Ruan, which means I've met Chloe, which means the game is finally a good
Hell
again.
yeah,
Because the game got good when Olivier showed up, and that's when the game
true.
got good.
But it got good
Chloe
too when
it got
Chloe
good
shows up.
again. Yeah. The sequel to it got good. So yeah, that's fun.
I did play through the demo of that. I don't think I mentioned that, but
I think we talked
mentioned
about that. Yeah,
in the
you
previous
played the
episode,
demo and
probably.
you're
Yeah.
like, I actually need to play all 13 games now. Thanks.
I never said that, but I am more excited to play more of the games now, for sure.
Listen, if you play through one, that's it.
It's
You'll probably end up playing the rest of them.
it's over. I've been
It's over.
indoctrinated.
It's
My
over,
life,
Kaiba.
my life soon.
Yeah, I hope so. That's my side hustle with Al. Is I'm betting that you're gonna streamline them all back to back to back to back. He says,
Definitely not.
you will take a break after playing 4 of them in a row. So we'll see. Anyway, what was I going to say? I guess other than that, gaming wise, I have played more Balatro on my phone. Those are the 2 things I can do at any given time. Anyway, more important than that.
He's got some cool shit to show off.
Portland
because,
Retro.
Yeah, you went to
Portland Retro Gaming Expo, baby. Let's go. So it's now 3 days with vendor. It used to only be 2 days, but I think they changed that last year. The Friday used to just be like free arcade, but I didn't have time to go on Friday. I had to do shit around the house. So now I only went Saturday and Sunday, but I have my badge. They did Mario
Mario.
badges.
Mario.
Mario. This is all day 2 shit. We're gonna get this out of my way. We're gonna go through day 1 shit first. Except I'm gonna save my favorite part of day 1 shit for last. After day 2 shit because it was the best. Games I picked up. We got Infamous 2 for the PS3. We got Soul Calibur 5 for the PS3.
I think I played that one.
Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction for the PlayStation 3.
Good answer, Steve.
Yeah.
We got Katamari Forever for the PlayStation 3.
Good answer, Steve.
We got Pilot Wings Resort.
Good answer,
Hell
Steve.
yeah, Pilot Wings,
3DS.
baby.
Quite a few PS3 games.
Those were these were the games I picked up. And then right now I'm not doing a ton of art because this space is becoming a nursery. So my time in this space is very limited, and I don't want to just have a bunch of art. I already have a bunch of art sitting down in like the basement, just waiting for me to be able to put it up. But I did get this felt magnet of a slime.
Nice.
So I get to go stick it on my fridge after this. So it's really cool. The artist, she was there, and she had like a bunch of different stuff. She had stuff like she had Green Dragon from Dragon Quest. She had like a Samus. Let's see, what are some of the other things? I think a lot of Pokemon. She had a lot of Gen 1 and some Gen 2 Pokemon. This is like a very basic design. Some of them were like super stacked and huge. Was it Deadpool? Like I think there was like a Deadpool or something. Like there's some insane stuff. A lot of cool stuff. I thought it was really nice. So there's that. Day 2, aka the last day. First off, Balatro pin, baby. Got Jimbo.
Nice.
Yeah. We got Yoshi.
Yoshi for Game Boy.
Yoshi. We got. I've decided.
Isn't that one done by Game Freak?
Yoshi?
I feel like that is.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Anyway, I've decided I'm going to try to get as many of the Nintendo published.
It is, Cloud.
That's what I thought.
Damn. Well, then it might be my favorite Game Freak game. So.
It could be. I think you should play it and find out.
Oh no, I have played it. I played it like on like 3DS Virtual Console. That's why I bought it. Anyway, my goal is to buy maybe not all of them, but a lot of the Nintendo published 3DS games. So we got fucking Crosswords Plus, baby.
Is published by Nintendo.
It's published by Nintendo, baby.
Sometimes Nintendo publishes some interesting games.
Speaking of interesting games, a sealed copy of Steel Diver.
Someone said, you know what? I know this game isn't worth opening up, so I'm not going to.
It was funny. The booth vendor that had this, they had 2 sealed copies of Steel Diver. They had one for $10, which is the one that's in my hand. And they had a second copy for $15. And I went, I'm going to buy the $10 one. So I bought the $10 one. I'm going to end up opening it. So there's no point for me to like buy
I
the more
like how
expensive
that was
one.
a sealed game that was
Sealed game.
$10. That
$10.
that tells you something about Steel Diver. But you know what?
It's not good, baby. It's not good. But boom, Wario,
Wario, Master of
Wario.
Disguise.
Master of Disguise, Wario, baby. Oh, speaking of Wario, this year Charles Martinet was actually a guest speaker, and he was there doing autographs at Portland
Oh
Retro.
yeah.
Did you get
And
something signed?
David Hayter was there too. He
Ooh,
had
Oh
a
fuck
panel.
yeah.
Yeah, so they actually get some pretty good people at this, which is why you guys should never come out. Just
Oh,
don't.
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll
No one
keep that
ever
in mind.
go. Yeah. Please, if you show up, I might be upset and pee myself. So don't do it.
That's too
You'll
much
piss Cloud's pants.
information. That's too much information.
Don't worry, Cloud. He'll just piss your pants.
Yeah.
No, stop it.
All right, next. Boom. Game and
Game
Watch
and Watch
Collection
collection.
2, baby. Game and Watch Collection 2. All right. We're going to wrap it up real quick. Boom.
Little
Little Big
Planet
Planet karting.
karting.
It wasn't even on my list to get, but I saw it and it was like $10 and I was like, "You know what? Fuck it."
You're like, this reminds me of Cloud in that video he still has to make.
Yeah. I'll hold this hostage so he can that way I know he has to play it. I'll come over.
You're gonna
Make you
come
play
over,
it.
you're gonna be knocking on the door, and then you're gonna be holding this when I open it.
It's like the Wii commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I have to say. And if you don't get that reference, why are you even here? Last game, boom. Ratchet and Clank, whatever this one is. I don't
Full
even know.
frontal assault.
Full frontal assault.
Gotta love
That's what I
those
picked
Ratchet
up.
and Clank games with the innuendo titles.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay. The real last thing was this framed beadwork of Euphoria the Saga characters that I found,
Hell yeah.
That's
which
amazing.
is phenomenal. I think this was made for me.
Yeah. This was
I
made
don't
for
think
you to purchase.
I don't think anyone else was going to see this and be like, "Oh hell yeah!"
Yeah.
I think this was literally made for me. It was $5 for this.
Really?
That's
It's a
insane,
Wow.
framed.
by the way.
It's for those who are listening, it is the main playable characters from Euphoria the Saga, like in beat art, that is framed in a like a very cheap, what you'd probably find is like a $2 frame at a Goodwill, but it's phenomenal and it's out of my entire video gaming, like my entire pulp culture collection, it's definitely the highlight now. Like,
I mean,
wait,
you
I'm just
got
gonna pick
Bop Louie
something.
in a frame.
I got Bapu.
How much higher can you go?
Like this Goku, I hate this Goku. There, he's dead to me. Done.
Was
He's
that
dead.
is that is Goku?
It is Goku.
The front of his hair fell off. That's
It's Kid
awesome.
Goku, but in samurai.
Gotcha.
You made him bald.
I made him bald. I made him half bald. I made him receding hairline. See, it's Goku.
Oh, okay. He's got helmet hair.
Yeah, he's got helmet hair. There. I hate this Goku now. Euphoria the Saga 2, baby. Or not 2, but yeah, go play Euphoria the Saga 2.
But
True.
also
Go
play
watch the
Euphoria
Great
the
Ace
Saga
Attorney
1.
VODs. What? Yeah, do that too. I will say there was one booth, and I really thought about it, and I should have done it. I should have gone back the second day, but there was a booth that had someone was selling Ace Attorney keychains. These were like their personal like artwork, but they even like had Gregson, and I was like, I should have gone back and like bought the keychains because I need a Gregson keychain. But I didn't because I'm a coward and an idiot.
I mean, you did get something, and
I did get
it speaks to you specifically. It really
yeah.
does feel like it was made specifically for you.
I literally do not know anyone else who would like this Euphoria the Saga like artwork.
Yeah.
It's like name one other person on
That
the
would
face
go
of the planet.
that would go that wild over framed Bop Louie.
Yeah.
I don't think there is anybody. I think Landon's the
I don't
one.
think there's. I think I'm it. So yeah, it was a pretty fun show. I took the twins. It was me and the twins, and then someone from our server, who's local, went. And then we had a good time. And then we went again Sunday. Kari went with us, and she like mostly wrangled the kids, because it's definitely a me thing for the Portland Retro. And then I took friend of the podcast Nick, and immediately he and I got separated. Like
Awesome.
immediately, like I went to a booth and then I turned around and I didn't even see my own children anymore. I was just like, huh.
How many copies of Dead Rising 2 did he buy?
I actually do not know. But he did buy. He bought 69 just loose discs.
Just loose discs?
Just loose discs.
How much did he spend on them? Were they on like a spindle?
I think it was. I don't think they were, but they were. I think $1 a piece or something from what he was saying. I wasn't there
my
when he
God.
bought them.
Are they
but he was like
actual
telling me about them.
games? Like
Yeah, they're games. They're
Oh.
they're like Wii U, like PS3, like games.
He's got to do the Lil B video. He's got to be like classic. Haven't played it
Classic.
yet.
Haven't played it yet. Where he just has a bunch of loose discs in a folder.
Yeah.
So that's like my guy. He knows how to party. He knows how to party.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was, and then I did play a little bit of Zelda 1, because they have like a console arcade. They have like arcade cabinets, free arcade cabinets, pinball, and then console arcade. So you can like randomly play, like it was like I was playing a GameCube, and it was the Zelda's Collector's Edition. So it had Zelda 1, 2, and then a bad game in Majora's Mask.
Yeah, I wonder which
so
one is the bad game.
It's the Wind Waker demo. That's the bad game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because it's not the full game, right?
Yes, exactly. You got it. So I decided I'd play a little Zelda 1. And I beat the first dungeon, and I got one of the hidden heart containers in the world, because I remembered where you have to bomb to get it. Because I probably did that 20 times for the Let's Play.
Now it's up to somebody else to finish that arcade playthrough.
They didn't have memory cards, so it was dead as soon as I left.
Damn.
Yeah, but I did name myself KJHG 53, so the Landlord saga continues somewhere.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So had a lot of fun. I don't want to go again next year with the kids because they will be able to walk. And I don't like that. I don't like that thought.
Fuck that.
Yeah. They couldn't walk today, or not today, but this time. The next time they would be able to. And I don't like that thought.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that is all. I'm tired. I have to go to bed to go to work in the morning.
Yeah.
Bad hot take.
Going to work.
Yeah, that's a bad hot take. That's a lukewarm take.
I'm so looking forward to going to work tomorrow morning, guys.
That's a hot take.
That is
a hot take.
And with that, we're just gonna sign off and we'll roll the outro. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.